Hey everyone, I got a question on Instagram from Aitli and he would like to know if I'm taking separate shots for star glow effect and if I'm layering them in Photoshop and basically what's my workflow for this type of technique. So Aitli and those of you who are interested in star glow, let's take a look at how to shoot and edit this effect. There are a few different ways how to achieve this effect. For example, you can do it entirely during post-processing with the help of a plugin called StarSpikes Pro. Or Jakob Sahners released a few weeks ago a set of astro actions also for Photoshop, and one of those actions mimics the star glow effect. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to test Jakob's actions, and when it comes to StarSpikes, the results are not always the most consistent or sometimes even not the most pleasing. So there is another way of doing things, and this involves the use of a filter. For example, we can get a square filter or a screw-on filter. There are specific star glow filters on the market, for example, made by Case, which is called Star Glow Filter, and one is made by Nisi. I believe it's called Soft Star Filter or something like this. You can also use mist or soft filters. An example of this would be the one made by Tiffany, which is called Pro Mist Filter, or the one I use, and this one is made by Kenko and it is called Softon A filter. I went with this one because I got it for 35 euros or something, so it was quite a bargain. In the field, we can go in one of the two directions. The first one would be that towards the end of our long exposure, we simply hold the filter in front of the lens like so. For example, if we are taking a 2-minute long exposure, we're gonna hold the filter in front of the lens in the last 15 seconds of our exposure. The second way of doing things is the one I actually prefer, and what I do is I take one image without the filter and one image with the filter. The reason I like to do this is because it gives me a total control over the strength of the effect, and also holding the filter in front of the lens can sometimes cause unwanted reflections. If I can be a bit more specific when it comes to my workflow, if I'm going after a stack, then I'll take one image with the filter and the rest of the images for my main stack without the filter. And if I'm going after a panorama, then I'll take one image with the filter and one image without the filter. I basically never do stacking when it comes to my panoramas. Also, there is a specific sequence I like to follow when I'm shooting panoramas. And later we're gonna take a look at this in Lightroom. And basically the images are in the following order. I start with the normal image, then it's gonna be soft, soft, normal, normal, soft, soft, and so on. And there is a reason for this, and let me show you this right now. I always start with a normal image. That basically means the image without the star glow effect. And when I'm shooting a panel with a 16mm lens, I'll go for a 2-minute long exposure. Now, let's say this exposure is captured. Then I'll add the filter. I will decrease the exposure time to 30 seconds and I'll take the same panel again, this time with the filter. This panel is now captured. Let's move to the second panel. Now, because the camera is ready to take a star glow image, I'll simply take a star glow image. Once that is captured, I'll remove the filter and I'll increase the exposure time back to 2 minutes and I'll take this image. So, next panel. Now my camera is ready to take a normal image and I'll simply take a normal image. I do this basically to save time, and I do not want to mess with the settings for each new panel. Let's quickly take a look at how to shoot images with different exposure times. because when we are after a panorama, it can be a bit challenging and we do not want to change too many settings all the time. Now, there are a few ways how to do this, and the biggest limitation is the camera itself. I like to use a remote trigger like this one, and if I'm using a 16mm lens, I'm going for a 2-minute long exposure for my normal image and a 30-second long exposure for my star glow image. Now, let's say I just took a 2-minute long exposure for my normal image. The only thing I'm gonna change now is I will change the exposure time from bulb to 30 seconds on camera, like so. And now I will trigger the exposure. Of course, the screen on the camera will go black while the camera is taking the exposure. So we are getting close to our 30-second mark. And once we reach 30 seconds, the screen on the camera will come back on in live view. But we can't use the camera just yet. I have to first cancel the exposure and the image will appear on the screen. Of course, in this case, it's blown out. In the field, we would see the stars. And that's basically it. The only thing I do is I switch between 30 seconds and bulb. And I always trigger the camera with this remote trigger. More modern cameras, like the recent models from Nikon, do have extended shutter. And in this case, I would recommend using user profiles, which we can find on this dial right here. And they are marked as U1, U2, and U3. Now, let's pretend that 30 seconds in this case would be 2 minutes or so. And let me change the ISO a bit, like so, and maybe close the aperture to f2.2. Then I would go to menu. Under this wrench icon, we have save user settings. And if I press right on this dial, I will go to save to user 1 and press right again and save settings, which basically means pressing right again. Those settings are now saved as U1. I'll now change the settings for a star glow image. So let's increase the ISO, open the aperture, and let's decrease the exposure time to 10 seconds. Now I will go to menu again, save user settings, and this one I'll save to U2. And by the way, you have to change those settings in manual mode. Now let's save. And if I change this dial to U2 to U1, you can see 30 seconds or 2 minutes in our case, f2.2 ISO 800, the settings we applied for the normal image. And if I turn the dial to U2, we have our star glow settings. Okay, how to edit this effect, I'll show you this on 2 examples. The first one is going to be my recent Andromeda shot. As you can see here, when I captured it above the Mount Triglav. And here I have my star glow image and the rest of the images for my stack. But I will export just one normal image. So, because when I'm adding the filter and when I'm removing it, I basically move the camera just enough so there is misalignment. And I fixed this using Auriga Registar. So I'll import those 2 images, and because I want to align my star glow image to my stack, or in this case just a single image, I will select the star glow image, go operations, register, I'll click on match and take this one and simply register. Now those 2 images are perfectly aligned. Now I'll save the aligned starglow image back on my desktop. And the next step involves two different programs or software, basically a PixInsight and a plugin called StarXTerminator. I tried to use the free StarNet, but it does not work as well when it comes to starglow images. So here I have our normal image and starglow image. As mentioned, I will then run StarXTerminator on both of those images. Okay, this process is now done, and I forgot to mention what the StarXTerminator or StarNet does. It basically removes the stars from the background. And because of this, we ended up with 4 images. This is our starglow image, and this is the background image from the previously combined starglow image. I do not need this one, so I'll close it. These are the stars from our normal image, and this is the background from our normal image. So now I will save those 3 images. I'll just save them on desktop, and I'll name this one sky background, so sky BG. Next we have normal stars. And our last image is the starglow image. Just like so. Now we will move to Photoshop, and I'll import those 3 images. Here is our background, normal stars and starglow. So the next step is I'll have to move those 2 star images on top of my background image. And I do this by unlocking and moving while I hold down Shift. So here are normal stars and background. And all we have to do is to change the blending mode to screen. So here are now our stars visible. And the last step is to import, to move the starglow image. Once again, right on top. And again, let's change the blending mode to screen. So here is now our combined effect. At the start of the video, I mentioned that this way of doing things gives me a total control over the strength of the effect. And we can simply decrease the opacity, or if we are not happy with the strength, we can simply just duplicate either layer. So let me duplicate the starglow, and as you can see, we have much stronger effect now. Let me hide this one, and you can do the same with the normal stars if you want. We can just duplicate this layer. This gives you all the control you need over the strength of the effect. Now, should we talk about the panoramas, because those have a total different level of complexity to them. And here is a recent winter Milky Way arch panorama. Let me find where I shot the sky. So I started with a normal image. Then I have starglow image on a new panel, and again normal image. I moved to the next panel, and here is normal image, soft, soft, normal, normal, and so on. Next step is exporting those files, and I put those in separate folders. Here I have my star glow images and my normal images. Here, the one thing you have to do is it helps to rename the images from 1 to 10. For example, and our normal number 1 image and our star glow number 1 image are the same, from the same panel. If we move to the, let's find Orion. Image number 5, star glow, normal. It's the same panel. And by the way, I repeated the same steps as before. Basically, I registered star glow image on top of the normal image. Let's move back, and as you can see, I have here another set of 10 images, and those images are the same. I just copy pasted my normal images, and I use those 10 images to stitch a panorama in PTGui. So let me open up the project. So here is my stitched panorama from normal images. Let me close now this project, and I'll copy paste those 10 registered star glow images, and I will replace those 10 normal images right here. Now, PTGui will use those 10 images because I used those as my source. So let me open up Panorama editor again. And as you can see, now we have already stitched star glow panel. And we are basically just swapping out the files. Let's say we are not happy with the projection, and let's say this one looks better. So let me save it. I'll close it. So now we just have to copy paste again our normal images and replace the star glow images. And I'll open up the project again. And as you can see here, now we have the fixed projection with our normal stars. So basically we're just swapping the files in and out in PTGui. That way we have two identical panoramas, and from here I basically export both panels, and I repeat the same steps again. So this means removing the stars in PixInsight and blending them together again in Photoshop once I'm done editing my background. Sometimes it happens that the stars from normal images and star glow images are not perfectly aligned, and I'm not quite sure what is causing this. I think it has something to do in PTGui. If that happens, then I'll simply use star glow stars on my final image, and I won't even use the stars from my normal image. I hope this makes sense, and I hope this was also a bit useful today. So I think we're done here. Thank you for watching. Take care, and bye bye.